Guys, happy Thursday. Joe Madden here. It's time for All-Jo Madden over here on Picks and Parlays. I hope your day is starting off fantastic. We're in for a loaded show. We've got Sean Higgs stepping up, Dre Rich stepping up. We're going to go over a handful of games in MLB today, as well as look at, of course, Thursday night football. We got a loaded one. I want to encourage you guys to open those odds logic screens as well to make sure that you are getting the best of those lines. We're going to go over all of those lines and different places that you can jump into to make some freaking money. It's going to be a great day. Like I said, loaded day out there on the diamonds as well as a Thursday night football. Now, we did see a fantastic game on Monday Night Football. Hopefully you guys tailed some of those bets that we threw out here because it was an absolute moneymaker. I'm seeing you guys jump into the show, and I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. Kev, I see you, as well as Kristen. Thank you for being here. Let's make some freaking money. Now, we do have the poll up on X right now, you guys, and I encourage you to go on over and get those votes in. It is X versus the books. The Washington Commanders are currently the favorite for people that are putting their bets in over on X. 41.7% of you leaning on the Washington Commanders. We're going to look at this again during the show. The Packers laying the 3.5, 33.3%. The over at 16.7% of people for their best bets, and that under at 48.5%. But we're going to be looking at all of that as well as looking at what's happening out there on the diamonds, like I said. Now, yesterday out there on the diamonds, we did see the Texas Rangers pull off the win as the underdog. They won that one 6-3. The A's actually won as well, but they were more of a pick 'em versus the Boston Red Sox. They pulled out that win. When we're looking at other dogs that were able to get things done, the Arizona Diamondbacks were able to get the win. That game did stay under the 8.5. So if you had the over, you did lose by that hook, not being able to get the push. We also saw in the KC game and the Guardians game that under come in. That was a 4-3 win for the Kansas City Royals. Who really would have hurt you yesterday? I think that Pirates game, a lot of people were rolling with the Pirates over the Baltimore Orioles. Now the Orioles will be starting another series again tomorrow. They were able to get the win yesterday in the 10th inning. It was a 2-1 game. The under 7 definitely cashing in that one. And then we saw the Phillies, of course, win as a large favorite. If you did have them on that run line, they got the win over the Mets. We're going to be talking the Phillies and the Mets for this game today as well. And then Detroit versus the Yankees. I think this is one of the bigger upsets. People expecting those runs to come out of the Yankees, but Detroit held them to one run and put up 11 runs themselves. So it was a crazy day out there on the diamonds yesterday. We're going to start looking at what is happening in Thursday night football tonight. Again, open those odds logic screens. We are seeing this line originally 2.5 for the Green Bay Packers, 3.5 sitting out there. We are seeing a couple of threes moving. Circa has a 3 at -120 for the Green Bay Packers, and Superbook has the 3 at -115. These totals are climbing as well, and this is an interesting way to see it climb. We're seeing the over come in here. 49 is the total at Circa as well as Pinnacle. 49 at Superbook. There are still some 48.5s out there. So open those odds logic screens, get those best lines. 48.5 is still sitting there at DraftKings. A couple of trends before we bring in Sean Higgs here. The Commanders have allowed the first touchdown in their last 10 games versus the NFC North opponents. So that is a strong trend there for the Commanders to allow that first touchdown. We've also got the Commanders. They've lost their last 4 first quarters on the road. So that is another strong trend why you'd want to look at the Packers to open this one up. We've also got a positive for the Packers. They've won their first half as a favorite in their last 7 games versus the NFC East. And the Packers have won their last 6 home games versus the Commanders. So those are your trends going into tonight's game. Terry McLaurin is your touchdown trend here. He scored at least 1 touchdown in 9 of the Commanders' last 10 road games, favored in this matchup to get that touchdown on the board at plus 155 for the Washington Commanders. And you got to talk about Josh Jacobs. He scored a touchdown in his last 9 games there for the Green Bay Packers. So yes, rolling in from last season, was able to get that touchdown in his last game. If you think he's going to get a touchdown tonight, well, the books are going to make you pay and pay big. He's minus 220 for that anytime touchdown. Not somewhere I can go, but we're going to go over everything tonight in this matchup. Let's bring in Sean Higgs and hear his thoughts on tonight's matchup. Sean, welcome to the show.
Hello, Joe. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. It's always a great day when we get to talk. It's either Monday night, Thursday night football. It's always the best.
Yeah, and everybody loves their NFL. We only have, well, now we're, down to 17 weeks. Only 17 more days of football there. How about that? Everybody's all excited about football, and you count them down that way, you got 17.
Well, terrible. That's kind of a depressing stat, Sean.
Yeah, there you go.
Need that on a Thursday morning. Come on.
Half empty cup out there.
We have. At least we have. So no more countdown to kickoff. It's finally here.
Yeah, and listen, interesting first week. We got some really good. Let's be honest. The Thursday night game, all the premier games. Yeah, Cowboys, Phillies were good. Kansas City Chargers. We had a wild one. Buffalo, Baltimore. A crazy game on Monday. Now, I took it on the chin Monday night. I was like, no way the team's scoring. I thought, listen, 17-6, I was looking great. I don't know what the heck happened in the fourth quarter. All I know about the wheels came off of my under in that play. So
the wheels definitely fell off, and we're getting comments that they believed you were going to be topless today on the show. Did you lose a bet, Sean?
I said someone didn't like my little shirt yesterday. It was like bluish. I don't know. And I was like, you know what? I'll wear a nice half shirt fishnet shirt today. But I ended up going with the regular Magellan fishing shirt. Yeah, the problem with these shirts, they're kind of like mesh underneath here.
Yeah. Because
they're for when you're on the water, so you can't really iron them. I feel like it's wrinkly, but you can't really see the wrinkles on. Yeah, okay. I don't iron. That's it's my wife iron if I need an iron. But I like this shirt. They're nice and comfy. Fashion, absolutely. Yeah. Listen, I'll definitely be arrested by the fashion police. They were like, this guy, you can't, cargo shorts are not in. Stop it. I'll always wear them.
Well, it's a good thing no one cares really about the fashion here. It's all about making some money, and I can't agree more with this comment. Let's cast some tickets, Sean. Where are we going to go with Thursday night football? And by the way, people are loving that shirt.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. At least somebody does. Yes, Markel, I agree with you. That's what that. I got a wife. I can't iron. I'll vacuum. I can do laundry. I can do a floor. That's easy stuff. That's ironing. I don't know. I'll be burn my. No, thank you. No, thank you. But we're gonna iron out some cash here tonight, and I'm gonna look back at another under in this one here. Right. I look at the run game, the running backs for all these teams. Jacobs, Daniels, a runner. Megan, I think that's his name over there for Washington. Their young kid. Yeah. We're gonna get the right. He's got a hyphen name, Merrill something.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, his name is an absolute mouthful. Let me just pronounce it right. Well, we just call him Bill. That's what he wants to go by, right? He wants to be called Bill, and we can definitely call him Bill out there. It's 3 names. Merritt is the last part.
I got 2 guys who run the ball. A third quarterback with wheels. I got Love on the other side, who's not really a huge downfield kind of thrower. Both guys pretty decent completion percentage, keep the clock kind of running. And then we look at what we saw on Sunday with the teams. Green Bay's off. I think that's kind of like a statement game for them, beating their division rival and a team that's won the division, so they kind of want to come out and play well. And Washington, he just manhandled the Giants. But, Russell Wilson, he had a chance to score a couple times down there, but the defense is solid. I look at this 48. Where are all these points coming from? Where are they coming from? Washington is a team that I don't want to say this rely on Daniels kind of making plays, but they do. A lot of close games last year. They pulled out a bunch of rabbits out of their hats. Give me the under here, 48. You could find. I know there's some 47 and a halves. I like the under. I actually like the field goal kicker for the Packers, McManus, over 1.5 field goals. I like the 1.5 field goals from him. Again, I think it's going to be lower scoring. I do like the running backs to score a touchdown here, both of these guys. Jacobs has scored a touchdown, I think, in 8 or 9 straight games for the Packers. And, again, the kid from Washington had, 80-something yards last week. He's going to get some looks. And if I think it's a low-scoring game, it's because we're running the ball and the clock is running and there's stuff like that. So that's what I'm kind of looking at this one. Low scoring. I like the field goals for the. If you want to do, you can do both if you want. I don't know. I just grabbed the Green Bay guy because I was talking to somebody else and he was kind of high on. I'm like, you know what? You're right. And if I like the under, I need field goals. So there we go. There we go. Field goal props, running back TD props. Again, they're not the biggest paydays. You could probably get better with someone else, wide receiver wise, down the line. But I don't know if you want a nice easy win. Jacobs is probably at the top of the board there for short odds for a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Jacobs coming in, though. He is so highly juiced for that touchdown. It was minus 220 last night. Sean, we have seen that move to the minus 196.
Oh,
I did want to reference.
That's way too high. Yeah,
yeah.
Thank you. Then no way. No, that is not in the Sean Higgs vocabulary, laying 190s. No, thank you.
No, it absolutely isn't. And for anyone not knowing who Bill is, it's always the first name that gets me. It's Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt. So he is so strong out there with his legs. He is definitely the running back you want to look at for the Washington Commanders. He just goes by Bill. The books will not put him as Bill, though, so don't be looking for Bill out there for sure. But I'm with you. I think this is going to be that lower scoring game. Higgs, do you realize the Packers have won the last 6 games in Lambeau versus the Washington Commanders? And I believe the last time the Commanders beat them on the road was 1988, and it was 1986 was the last time they won in Lambeau. So there was a game that I guess was on a neutral site, but they were considered the road team.
That again, I wanted to pull out to go all the way back for these games, but I mean, we got different coaches, different quarterbacks, different players. I don't. If these two teams, if it was you're talking Detroit and Green Bay, the Bears and Green Bay, Minnesota, rivals, I'd kind of weigh that a little bit differently, but those things don't make a difference there to me. You can't get, especially that far back. I know a lot of guys like to go to the databases like XYZ and run out stuff from there. I can't. Not when the players change, coaches change. It's a different football today is different than it was for 10 years ago. It's totally different sport between the way the games are called and how it's no running back. I mean, 10 years ago, you needed a running back. Now we don't play running backs. They're not important, right? I mean, you got to take that kind of stuff with a grain of salt, I think.
Okay, so we're looking at the books taking this total up at 249. We've seen the movement to that over. We're seeing 49s basically across the board. Now, if you're looking for an over, Hard Rock is the only place currently, and Sports 11. 411 that I'm seeing at the 48.5. So shop those lines. I'm with Sean here. I like the under. If you're getting a 49, even better that you're getting that under 49. But I'm not afraid of the 48.5 or a 47.5 even, Sean. I think this is a 23-20 style of game. Now, I know you like the total, but any thoughts here on the side?
I'd lean with the home team here with Green Bay. It's a short week. Home team will always get the benefit of that doubt for me when it comes to that spot. Both are off rivalry games. You want to say they're both played physical. And again, with Washington, 13 games last year, 1-score games. They won 9 of them. That kind of, Green Bay knows all about teams like that. They're Minnesota in the division, winning every kind of tossed-up game. That can't carry over all the time. It can't carry over all the time. You're gonna have a little step back with Jaden Daniels. I lean Packers here at home since they're home. But again, the unders to my play here, and it's a 49. How are we getting 49 on? Are they that beat up after? This is week 1. This isn't down the line where they're beat up and you got injury reports through the roof and guys be sitting out. You're a game into the season. You should be able to bounce back in 3 days to play defensively and stuff like that. So I know the over has been a thing, but I'm not here. Not in week 1. If you just retire if you can't back it up here in week 1. Come on, guys. It's week 2. Play some defense.
Absolutely. So I know you're high on the kickers. You're high on the running backs. What do you think of the tight ends? We got a question here on Ertz, or a statement. Ertz over 31.5 receiving yards. Those short passes out to him definitely could be in play today.
I did a lot of Ertz last year because I thought Daniels would look to the safety valve. And then it'd be a tight end kind of spot there. So I'll agree with it. Again, for me to get involved in player props, I don't really love it. Like, I mean, I just said, oh, look at some running back props, and they're crazy odds because I don't bet those. Because then I got to pull for a touchdown when I like an under. So I really don't dabble often into these, but these I like because I feel the tight end, not just for a young quarterback like Daniels, but anybody. That is the guy you're going to look at because he's going to be hanging around at the 8-yard mark. You know, nobody's under. He's your safety valve guy, right? I mean, we saw him go to Samuel 10 times. Ertz is not the guy who's going to be getting a look, but he's sneaky. He's sneaky. Veteran, nice bailout for a young quarterback to drop down to.
Yeah, we're seeing those first quarters. People are saying it is sitting right around that 7.5. And then other comments here, not sold on Jordan Love. Are you sold on Jordan Love? I think he has every ability. I'm just not sure in this game against this defense if he's going to be able to make those big flashy passes, Higgs.
Well, the defense looked good last week because you're playing a guy who's, very well probably at the tail end of his career, right? I mean, and it's weird because he threw 20-something touchdowns when he was with Denver. He did the same. I think he had 20 touchdowns at Pittsburgh last year. You look at the numbers like, wow, he doesn't look that bad. He's putting some points on the board. But then you watch him play, and you're like, oh, boy. Like, they're just kind of like compiler stats. Like, it's just a random he's got a touchdown here when it's out of reach of the game. It's meaningless. They're meaningless stats. So, yeah, you beat the Giants. Okay.
It don't impress you much, eh?
Okay,
it's like
I mean,
song.
I saw Russ Wilson on the 1-yard line and inside there make a bonehead play trying to throw to a lineman. That game, they were within a touchdown to win that game, to tie the game. So I don't think Washington was like, hey, let's overlook these guys. We got Green Bay on deck. You want to beat a rival. I mean, Washington could have beat them last year if they had a kicker on the team. Washington lost the game because they didn't have a kicker. Mm-hmm. They had nobody kick an extra point or a field goal. So they lost. So I don't know. You could come in and be like, yeah, we look really good. The Packers are ready to play. I mean, I think that they're a team. They won, 12 games last year? They lost to some of the better teams. I don't know. I think Washington, anytime you have a young quarterback, there's a year of film and his tendencies.
But then you have Dan Quinn. I'm a
Quinn defensive guy. I think he's more. I don't love the head coach Quinn. I like the DC Quinn.
Okay.
LaFleur, I think, is 16-0 the last couple of years in the first 3 weeks of the season. He's 8-0 ATS at home, or I think 16-3 ATS or 16-4 ATS the first month of the season, and 8-0 at home ATS. Absolutely. They're ready to play. The complete opposite of the Cincinnati Bengals. Give me the Packers here.
Okay, we're going to talk some baseball in just 1 second. I just want to show Andrew's comment. Micah Parson for the sack. I tell you, Andrew, I am all over this today. We're going to have Madden fade or follow later, and I've got a couple defensive props. It's always all about the D for me, Sean, but let's turn to some baseball here. I know you've got a couple games that you're liking out there on the diamonds today. Where are we going to go first?
Well, I want to start with the Mets and the Phillies. Now, the Mets are slumping, but here's where I do some prior props. And I usually do a lot of ribby props, but of lately I've been doing some stolen base props because one of the show's followers was like, hey, man, you got to look at Soto for 30-30. The guy says he wants 40-40. Stolen bases, crazy odds. And then we kind of thrown a little door in there. But I'm going to go Soto today. Plus 400 for a stolen base. And I got his 4 hits. This is off of DK here. Hit, run, ribbies. So he's got to have 4 total, plus 315. He's been tearing it up, sitting 350 the last 2 weeks. He's stolen 7 bases, on base all the time. 4 hits, run, ribbies, plus 315. And stolen base for Soto, plus 400. So that's why I like it in this Met-Philly game. Because the Mets – sorry, Met fans. I don't know what happened. You guys talk about the old peak too early. The Mets were definitely, I think, peaking a little too early here. Phillies seem to be running away with it here. No, I don't know. Give me the player props in this one in the Mets Phillies.
Wow, I love the player props. That's a plus 400, Sean.
It's been yesterday. I had him. It was plus 550.
Wow. That's fantastic
He's
value.
getting 4. He's getting 4-1, and he's stealing. The other day, he stole with 2 outs, down 5-0. He stole third base.
Okay.
And Lindor had been last week. Lindor and Soto they played Tuesday, Wednesday. I should say they played. I had them on Tuesday, Wednesday. They were off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It went 4-6 with either of them stealing a base. So 4-6 total. But with the odds they were getting, it was plus 1,050 for the week going 4-6.
Wow.
And between the two of them, 3 of them, there was 3 caught stolen bases. Like when one of them stole, the other guy got caught 2 times in those games. So I mean, they're running. They are running. They're running on the bases right now. But
there's nothing more fun than cheering on those stolen base props. Yeah, I love to see it, Sean. That's awesome.
I'm like, yeah, it's again. A guy brought it up. I'm like, you know what? Good little spot there. And then I looked at him like, the guy's he stole 11 bases. He wants to 40-40, and he's still running now. I'm taking him.
You guys, I am seeing over 100 of you watching on YouTube, over 50 of you watching on Instagram, and then we're across all those other platforms. So hit that like, hit that subscribe button. We would so appreciate it here. As Sean Higgs, you're going to jump into the Tigers versus the Yankees.
Yeah, so this one here, I mean, the Yankees, I'm a Jersey guy, but the Yanks, I got an under for the Yankees. I'm kind of pulling for some losses here for them. That's a whole nother story, but let's look at these guys for a second here. Back-to-back 10-run losses for this squad. What is going on here? The bullpen has been terrible. That's what's been going on. Like a 6 ERA the last month. Not good. Not good. I think the Rockies are pretty much the only team worse than them out of the bullpen. I'm going to go over the total here. 8.5. It actually seems low to me. Like, why isn't this like a 9 or a 9.5 the way the Yanks have been playing? 10 runs. Again, yes, a back-to-back loss like that, terrible. And then I look at the Slither's numbers. Overall, he's been good, right? And then I'm looking at his splits at home. He had 3 really good games, 4 runs in 17 innings, and then he got beat up 10 runs in 11 innings in these other 3 starts. So who's like the in-between kind of pitcher I'm going to get today? Because the Tigers aren't a crazy offensive squad, but they're not terrible, as we've seen them just put up 20-something runs. So I think he's probably going to go his 5+ here and give up 2 or 3 runs. I hate expecting and hoping for the Yanks to score because I like to say, Joe, if you hope in one hand and poop in the other, you see which one fills up first. It's usually not hope. So
okay, wait. I have to stop you on that comment. I've never heard that comment before, Sean.
Yeah, I say that all the time on my show. Hope in one hand, poop in the other. People are like, oh yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, or teams do. Like they're no. It's but I think we see runs here. You're
okay.
The Yanks at home, they score runs. No, not to get on a negative note. 9-11 in New York. I don't know. Maybe a little extra juice for them as a franchise and stuff like that. 8.5 does seem a little low, but the way they've been pitching, I can't see this being like a 3-1 game. So I'm going to go over the 8.5 here.
Okay, we are seeing the 8.5 only at -106, so the juice is to the under in that one. So gotta love it, you guys. Let's look at that now, Sean. I know you got a ton going on. What have you got for sale over on Picks and Parlays for us?
We got some NFL. We got some college football. No MLB today. Hit my MLB yesterday. I'm having a good run. Number 1 for the last 30 days there, MLB. So MLB's been a good season, nice winning season. Overall, number 1 for the year, total money. But taking it light with MLB now. It's a little tougher. Create big lines, and now I have college and NFL. I got college today. I got college tomorrow. I got college on Saturday. NFL. I think I have 14 NFL up, 10 college football. Get a weekly pass because I got you covered. I got a lot of action. And, of course, there could be some MLB sprinkled in here right now. But I take it day to day. I'll take it day to day, try to find something.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean, I want to thank you so much for being here today. I'm just looking at all the comments. There's so much love for everything that you've been bringing out. Lots of people, one person saying, get your pen out for the Commanders on the money line tonight. But
Tony
this
C,
comment
pen out.
really had me stumped for a second. Clap your hands, you got a mess. And I was lost for words after reading that one, Sean.
Hey, listen, when you think about it, like, hope. Well, hope is nice, but you hope in one hand, you poop in the other, see one fills up first. My father-in-law says that when he's like, I'm hoping for, people are like, I hope this happens. Yeah, I hope. All right, well, it's nice, but Nobody's due to win. They're due to win today. Yeah, all right.
Well, we're getting the love coming in, Sean. More you and I know you're going to be here a couple times a week, so you guys make sure you always stay tuned here on Picks and Parlays over on YouTube, X, everywhere you can find us for more Sean Higgs. Because Sean, you're crushing it. You're crushing the books out there. We can't wait to see you making some more money. The under tonight is your main play in Thursday night football. I love it.
All right. Well, have a good one, Joe. Thanks for having me, and good luck, everybody. And I'll see you probably next week sometime. We'll do a show.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. All the best, Sean. Bye.
See ya.
Okay, you guys, that was Sean Higgs there. Make sure you head on over to Picks and Parlays to get the best of his bets out there. I want to remind you guys about the poll that is going on right now. We've got the votes coming in over on X versus the books. To get your best bets in, go on over to my X account, Joe Madden Sports. Pop those bets in. We've got the love coming in for the Packers laying the 3.5. Now they're too juicy on that money line. I didn't even add it to the poll. They're like -170 if you want to look at that money line for a parlay piece. I don't love putting favorites that high into a parlay, and I do think there might be a little bit of love here for the Commanders. They might have the ability to get the win. So we're looking at the Commanders plus the 3.5, 33.3% of you liking that. We've got the over coming in at 13.3% and only 10% of love coming in for that under. It's going to be really interesting, this matchup. We have Dre Rich coming in now. He's going to go over for us. Thursday Night Football, we're also going to look at a couple games that he is liking on the diamond today. And again, if you're looking for his best bets, you have to head on over to Picks and Parlays. Get those odd logic screens open now as we go over these lines. Dre, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me on, Joe.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to have you here tonight. I want your take on this Thursday night football game. Now, Higgs is rolling with the under. I am rolling with the under too, but can you make a case for this one to go over that total? If we see overtime, I think the under is blown, but what are your thoughts on the total now sitting at 49?
It's a trifecta, and I'm going against the books on the raising of this total. Both defenses showed great poise in their first games of the season. The power on the defensive line is very strong. It's hard to see these teams getting any big chunk plays, even though I know Jordan Love is the guy to accumulate those yards through the air. I just see that these are run-first offenses who tend to really rely on chunk plays to get downfield, but these defenses can stop that with their pressure. And I think Jordan Love will have to make quick decisions. A lot of dink and dunks, and a lot less far field passes.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there. I think this is going to be a great game when we're looking at the defensive side of things. I'm looking for both of these teams to really come out nice and strong. Like I said, you guys in the fade or follow later today, I will have those defensive plays that I'm loving. It's something I love to bet out there, Dre, is looking at the defensive players. But what do you think for a side in this one? We got the Washington Commanders grabbing 3.5 points. We have the Packers, of course, laying that 3.5, but there are some threes out there. With the movement to the 3, are you more inclined to bet the Packers here, or what are you doing with the side?
Unders, it's tough to take a side, especially when it comes to this total being this game line being so close to 3. At the 3.5, I would have took the Washington Commanders. Same thing as last week when we saw the Chiefs and the Chargers. That 3.5 is very key to, especially to teams that are usually losing to the other side. So lowering to 3, it scares me to take the 3 with the Commanders. It might be a push, possibly. The Commanders are live for an upset. I would just take the Packers in this case, it being lower to 3.
Yeah, I can understand exactly why you're going there. Short week here, Thursday night football, both of these teams coming off wins. But definitely when we look at the Washington Commanders and who they had to go through, Sean touched on it a little bit. Russ and that offense of the Giants just looking a mess in their last game. But this is going to be a fantastic one. Any players that you have circled in this game?
Yeah, I love player props for the NFL. This is my favorite time to do player props. Uh, I love Rashawn Gary, Michigan man. Uh, I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Jaden Daniels, and I think that they're going to really game plan for Micah Parsons, which is going to open the other side for Rashawn Gary, who is also a very good force to be reckoned with when it comes to quarterback pressures. He's going to have opportunities, and I do think that Jaden Daniels gets sacked more than twice tonight. So it could be multiple guys getting in there, but Rashawn Gary's one guy you got to watch out for.
Oh, I absolutely love where you're going with those defensive props. It's my favorite thing to bet is the defensive props. We know on the weekend we did have those pick sixes coming into play. Not sure we're going to get it this week, but I do think those sacks are absolutely coming. A little preview for what I'm liking when it's all about the D here, but you don't think the short week matters here? I think it's a hard turnaround, especially when you're game planning, but it is just week 2. We're not dealing with as many injuries. When we talk about those injuries, though, Dre, we are seeing question marks on the offensive line for the Green Bay Packers, still needing that final report. A couple of those players are playing the right tackle and the left guard. So we'll see who's going to be out there protecting Jordan Love. But what do you think of the running backs here? Do you think we're going to see the work on the ground?
Yeah, Higgs touched on it, and we're on the same page on a lot of these picks for the Packers and Commanders. I do like Josh Jacobs. He's a workhorse for this team. I think they want to run the ball. Like I said, they're run first offenses. And Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, I do like him as well. After they traded Brian Robinson to the Niners, I think this kid's going to be given a lot of a long leash in order to show what he can do this season. And Eckler came out of the last game banged up against the Giants, so I can see him having over 10.5 rushing attempts in this game against the Packers, who they don't want to put all the weight on Jaden Daniels. So I think they're going to give him a lot more run tonight as well.
Absolutely. And you got to love the look here for Jaden Daniels. We know he was able to put up 60 something rushing yards in that last game. While he's a dual threat quarterback, but he is a pass first quarterback. When you see him drop back and when he does start to run, he's always looking nicely down the field. So it's going to be a great day for him. I would look at his rushing props as well. Not sure I'll get to the window on him with his legs because I'm with you. I love what I think we're going to see out of Bill in this matchup. 82 rushing yards in that last game. He's going to be trying to run everywhere. We'll see what they're able to do against his Packers defense, who, let's say it, they completely shut down every single game plan that the Lions had in that last game. So it's going to be an interesting one here. I'm excited for it, but I know you also have some action out there on the diamonds. You ready to talk the Royals versus Guardians?
Yeah, this is both these teams are fighting for a wild card spot in the AL, and I can't get behind Stephen Kolek right now. He's still new to the Royals, and this is his first away game with the Royals. And on the other side, we got Gavin Williams for the Guardians. He's 6-2 at home, and he has a 3.0 ERA and a .210 on base average. So he's been very hard to get on base against. So it's hard for me to not take the Guardians here. They also are staying home after this game to play the White Sox, another underwhelming team, while the Royals have to travel again to the Phillies, and the Phillies are hot. So I think their focus is going to probably be on the Phillies rather than this game, even though this is a very close series and they could tie the series with this win. It's just hard for me to take the road team here. So I'm going with the Guardians on the money line, even though it's kind of a steep pick because it's minus 144 in the books, but it's the best play, I think. The under is a good play as well.
We are seeing lines out there all the way down to -136. So you guys get those old logic screens up and shop those lines, because at -136 with Gavin Williams getting the start, I'm completely with you there on the Cleveland Guardians. But we also have the matchup that you're looking at here with the Mets and the Phillies. I know Higgs touched on this one, but where are you going with this matchup?
Yeah, Higgs also said a lot of things that support my actual pick for this game. I'm going with the over 8.5 runs here. Phillies are one of the best hitting teams in the league, even without Trey Turner and Alec Baum. David Peterson struggles at home for the Mets. I don't trust him on the road. He's only won 4 of his 8 road starts. The Phillies, they're batting .304 against Peterson in his career, and they should have another good day against him today. On the other side, we got Luzardo. He's more trustworthy than Peterson, but he also gave up 4 runs in his last start against the Mets. The over is the storyline of this entire series, and the same should be for this series finale as well.
Okay, so we're looking at the over sitting there at 8.5. I love where you're going with that. It's going to be a great day out there on the diamonds, as well as a Thursday night football. Where can everyone, Dre, find all of your best bets?
I'm on Picks and Parlays. I'm always posting. I'm not sure about every other capper, but I always post player props inside of my official bets. So you're going to get 3 bets for the purchase of 1 package every time. So I'm giving people more opportunity to make more money when they purchase my picks, just to give a little bit additive to it, because some people just don't like player props, but I love player props. So, and we're always doing MLB, NFL, college football. Even I watch a lot of soccer. So EPL, if you like the European League, I'm always doing that as well. And I'm also on YouTube. My channel is called Money Huddle. It's a show that I'm starting, and we already have 4 episodes out, and we're just giving free picks out there.
Absolutely. Well, you guys head on over to Picks and Parlays. Get all of Dre's best bets there. Dre, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You guys, we're going to start seeing Dre every Thursday here, so make sure you stay tuned for him. You don't want to miss out on any of his best bets. And like you said, when you buy his packages over there, you're not just getting that one play, you're getting player props within it. But you guys, I'm seeing so many of you watching between X and YouTube across all of the places. Make sure you hit that like, hit that retweet button. There is 219 of you currently viewing on my X. I want to say thank you for that. But if you guys can hit that like button, I definitely would like it. You put player props in your write-ups too. Yeah, it's very smart to put those player props in there. It really does give you backup reasons for why you're liking certain plays. So I love where you're going. But you guys, we got to look at X versus the books. I don't have a graphic currently for X versus the books because I was so entranced in what Dre was saying. But when we look at X versus the books, those numbers have shifted a little bit. We're seeing 36% of people rolling with the Washington Commanders plus the 3.5 or straight up on the money line. The Packers laying the 3.5 is 38.9%, and more love coming in for that total. 16.7% of people liking for their best bet the over 48.5. Again, that has moved to 49, you guys, and the under coming in at 8.3%. I'm with the books in this one. I'm going to tell you, I really do think this is going to be a lower scoring game, and it goes against everything when you look at these quarterbacks. I know we have 2 quarterbacks that have such gunslinging arms. They have the ability to get that ball down the field into those tight windows, and on that last drive of the game, anything can happen. We saw it with Jaden Daniels last season. We've seen it with Jordan Love, but I do think the defenses come out to play. I think the running backs come out to play, and I think Dan Quinn is ready for this team. So do you know what that means? That means it's time for Madden versus the books. It's fade or follow time, you guys. And if you did on Monday, I hope you did not fade me. We have to touch quickly on those Monday best bets for my Monday night football and just where they went. So let's look at this, you guys. Do you know which one lost? Adam Thielen for the anytime touchdown at plus 340. We hit the Bears team total over 21.5. Absolute freaking sweat. We hit Odunze for the touchdown at plus 215. Caleb Williams for the touchdown. He got the first touchdown of the game at plus 460. We hit the long shot. JJ McCarthy for the touchdown at plus 600. We lost. Adam Thielen for the touchdown at plus 340. So if you faded me on Monday, definitely not the way to be. If you followed, I hope you made that freaking money. So you guys, we're going to look at today's best bets out there on the diamonds as well as Thursday night football. Let's start with Thursday night football here and what I'm liking. So breaking down Thursday night football tonight, I do think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I do think the Washington Commanders have every ability to get the win. I know it's in Lambeau. I know the history behind the Washington Commanders rolling into Lambeau, but I do think this is going to be an absolute battle out there. Short week. I got to take the dog plus 3.5. At 3, I still think the Washington Commanders can get the win. I'm a little less in love with the bet, though, at 3. So I'm going to sprinkle on the money line because if I'm taking a dog plus 3.5, I'm always going to sprinkle on that money line. Right now for the Washington Commanders, it's coming in at plus 155. I do think the defense wins this game for the Washington Commanders, and I like Jaden Daniels' ability to use his legs. I think he's going to be able to scramble out of that pressure the Packers are going to be able to bring, not like Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. I think the offensive line in front of him is going to be able to make some holds, but not all of them. It's going to be a really interesting one here, but I'm looking for Jaden Daniels to go over the 44.5 rushing yards. We know in that last game out there, he was able to put 62 rushing yards on the board. And yes, it was versus the Giants, but I did like what we saw out of that defense. Terry McLaurin here, over 55.5 receiving yards, definitely is making my card tonight. You look at him, and I do think he's going to win the battles on the outside. I'm looking for him to really get open. This could be 3 receptions, maybe even 2 for Terry McLaurin to get over that 55.5. I'm looking for those breakouts. So if you don't want to take the full game over the 55.5 receiving yards for him, I would look at his longest reception to the over because I do think those big plays are coming. And then when we look at Jordan Love, again, I think this game comes down to a run game. I think the defenses are on point. Jordan Love, while you could take his passing yards to the over, I'll look at his longest pass in this one. Over 38.5 for his longest pass. I'm looking for him to really get a nice deep ball to some of his weapons out there. We know how many weapons the Green Bay Packers do have. I think Tucker Kraft is an interesting look, the tight end out here for a long reception. Not sure if he could get all the way up to 38.5. But when we look at the Green Bay Packers and we look at how many players, how many different weapons out there between Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Matthew Golden, we got question marks around Matthew Golden with his ankle, but I think he's going to be just fine. I do think there's too many weapons for me to look at who he's going to get this pass to for who I like for his longest reception. But I definitely think you look at that longest reception or longest pass for Jordan Love. So those are my 4 best bets out there on Thursday night football. But I told you guys, it's all about the D for me in this matchup. And that's exactly where we're going to go. And this is going to be a new segment coming into this show because I love defensive props. So all about the D, my Thursday night best bets. Von Miller for the Washington Commanders. And I know the A slipped out. That's my Australian accent trying to slip out, you guys. And I promise you, I'm going to fix that. Von Miller here for the sack, coming in at plus 198. We know Von Miller has the ability to put that pressure on Jordan Love. I'm looking at him to really bring it tonight. We have injury concerns for the Packers. They walked out of week 1 with those injuries. Zach Tom here with his hip and oblique. He's the right tackle for Jordan Love. And then the left guard, Aaron Banks, ankle and groin. I'm not sure if either of them are playing. I'm pretty sure Aaron Banks won't be playing. We might get Zach Tom, but do check those injury reports. Even if both of them are playing, I think they're going to be weak links on this offensive line. And we look at Von Miller. He has every ability to break through and put that pressure on. The Commanders last week pressured Russell Wilson, 22 of his 45 dropbacks in week 1. Armstrong had 9 pressures and 1 sack. So he was the leader there for the Washington Commanders. But I do think Von Miller with the 2 pressures, he is just waiting to get that big sack out there. I'll take Von Miller at that price at plus 198. And then Micah Parsons. How can we deny what Micah Parsons is able to do out there on the field? Great addition here for the Green Bay Packers. He did get that sack in his debut, and he'll look to continue bringing that pressure. His ability to read those plays out there on the field is the reason why the Green Bay Packers picked him up. And you know he's going to be hunting and completely hunting Jaden Daniels in this matchup. So my all about the D, you guys, we got Von Miller for the sack for the Washington Commanders and Micah Parsons for the sack for the Green Bay Packers. You're going to have to lay the juice on Parsons, but it's juice that I am willing to lay there at minus 130. But again, shop those lines and make sure you get the best bets. You're liking my reasoning for Washington. Thank you. Let's make some freaking money, you guys. And we know it's not just all about Thursday night football here. We do have a game that I have circled out there on the baseball diamonds. And before I do that, I want to touch on a couple of plays that I liked for Thursday night football, but didn't get to the window for anyone that's kind of been like thinking about them. We know Debo has the ability to go over the 54.5 receiving yards. In last week, he had 10 targets, 7 receptions for 77 yards, 19 rushing yards, which did get him the touchdown. His prop is that 54.5. It's minus 114. I think it probably hits. I didn't get to the window there. Zach Ertz is the other one for the anytime touchdown. He's at plus 270. His receiving yards 31.5. I do think he's going to be a prime target out here for Jaden Daniels. And we know that the Lions did have success with their tight end. So I would like Zach Ertz, but it feels like it's kind of trendy to look at Zach Ertz today. Again, 31.5 is his receiving yards, touchdown at plus 270, 5 targets, 3 receptions in that last game for 26 yards and a touchdown. You can see him being a weapon out here. I'm just not going to get to the window. But let's look at MLB here today. We have a great matchup between the Houston Astros and the Toronto Blue Jays. So let's get my best bet up for that, you guys. This is it right here. So we're going to look at the first half in this one. This is interesting. So this is game 3 here between these two teams. We have seen the split thus far. So the first 5 innings, I'm liking the under 4.5 runs. It's coming in at minus 112. The Astros are giving the start to Javier, he's rolling in with a 4.43 ERA. He's had those command issues, and against the Toronto Blue Jays, who have been really disciplined at the plate as of late, we can see him give up those walks today. But in his career, he has pitched well versus the Blue Jays. So I don't want to fade Javier here. I can understand why anyone would want to. And then when we look at the Jays, they're starting the ace, Kevin Gausman. Now, Kevin Gausman rolling in with a strong ERA overall in the season at 3.63. We look at him since the All-Star break. He's been on absolute fire, and he was in that last start versus the Yankees. 8 innings pitched, and he only allowed that 1 run. He's dropped that ERA since the All-Star break down to like a 2.6-ish sitting right there. So I think he's going to come out nice and strong, limit the bats of the Astros to start this game as well. I worry a little bit about the bullpens putting up some extra garbage runs at the end of this game, pushing us over that total. So the first 5, I will look at the first 5 under 4.5 runs. But you guys, those are my best bets for the day. Just to remind you guys, Thursday night football, we're going the Washington Commanders plus the 3.5 at minus 115. Money line sprinkle. Shop those lines over at Odds Logic. Make sure you get the best of those numbers. Jaden Daniels over 44.5 rushing yards. Terry McLaurin over 55.5 receiving yards. And Jordan Love for the longest pass over 38.5. It's all about the D is Von Miller for the sack for the Washington Commanders at plus 198. Micah Parsons for the sack at minus 130. And then MLB best bets. Houston Astros versus the Toronto Blue Jays. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed. The Jays can get the win. They are my team. But the first 5 under 4.5 runs at minus 112. You guys, we are live here every Monday, Thursday, and Friday for All-Jo Madden. One more quick look at the poll on X. I'll look at your comments and then I'm going to send you guys on your way. So much going on at Picks and Parlays. Stay tuned for Allie's Total Chaos. The videos are up as well for free picks, so don't miss out on those. We aren't seeing much movement in the poll. X versus the books. Commander is still getting 34.1% of people's love plus the points. The Packers at 39%. That over is still trending at 48.5 at 17%. And only 9.8% of you liking that under. I'm all over the under, you guys. I can't wait for hockey to start as well. We're going to be having hockey. We're going to have it all here. Astros bats really do struggle against Kevin Gausman. I think he's going to be the reason why the Jays have the possibility of getting the win. Coming off that big win versus the Yankees, though, I couldn't get there with the price. With the Toronto Blue Jays straight up on the money line, I kind of don't love fully backing a team when their pitcher had such an outstanding game in the last one. It just drives up that juice on that team as well. So I'm glad you're loving the show, you guys. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Again, so many of you watching. Do me a favor so we can get this show to 5 days a week. Hit that like button, hit that retweet button. But in the meantime, we are here Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. We're running late today, you guys. So all the best in all of your bets. Let's stay hot. Let's make some freaking money. And I'll see you tomorrow.